we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of
the
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. All right, so why don't we wait on the approval of the minutes until Dave joins? I don't have, and that would be item number 4. Item 5 is communications. I'm not aware of any. Um, does anybody else have any incoming correspondence from anybody? Yes, no, no, okay. Okay, under old business, energy efficiency projects, there's a whole lot of school items in there, which I have no update on unless Dan.
I do have some updates I can
Okay,
provide.
So
We'll
go ahead.
start Bus Depot.
Yeah.
Rich was able to give me some comments as to the status of some of these. The Bus Depot, he doesn't see anything wrong with trying to coordinate that. What we would need to do is we need to get your permission through DATCO, as they're actually the owner of the building. So altering duration so that they can work to see when the facility could be available for the testing.
Yes, that's the blower door test.
Correct. Yep.
That Walt
had offered to.
Gajewski.
Yep.
It is Dave.
Good. Needs to go out. Please come up and get them.
So Ann?
Yes, sir.
Back. Okay, so the testing that Dan just referred to is the blower door test for continuity. Walt Gajewski had volunteered to do a complimentary blower door test. Dan is saying that representatives from DATCO or maybe even the school or both would like more information about how that is done, and we'll get that information to Walt, and then Walt can, who should he contact?
He could send it to me, maybe, and I could forward it along to Rich, get it in the right hands.
Okay, good.
Yep. Item 2 we have is the Dot and Highland schools. That's in the process. There was a Board Ed initiated project. They've been delayed because of the COVID. Both locations have just been approved by Eversource. They have to determine scheduling during the school being in session. So there'll be more information coming along with that once they sort out the schedule again because of the COVID. Highland School, he's got a note here. This was has been with WSC since May. I didn't get to catch back up with him to see what that abbreviation was for. It might be the design process at this point still. And then the number 4 item we have here, the athletic complex. This again was a Board of Ed initiated capital project. It was awarded to JK Energy Resources. The fixtures at this point and frames have been ordered and are currently in production. The hope is that these will be installed prior to winter.
Okay, so Ian, I don't know if you can following the agenda, you can kind of fill in the necessary explanations, but what is that? I believe you're talking about the McClary Athletic Complex.
That is correct. That's item 4 as you have listed here.
Okay. Highland School was the government freezer project. I don't know whether WSD refers to the contractor.
Yeah, I'll follow up with that, and I'll add that clarification.
Okay.
I'll get that to Ann. This WSC is the abbreviation that we have, and I'll work to get the clarification on that for the minutes.
All right. Number 5 would probably be Walt Gajewski primarily. Walt put together a press release, which I think we sent to everybody on the commission. And he told me tonight that he couldn't attend the meeting, but that he was going to follow up with the media to see if they picked up on the press release, if they intend to or whatever. It did appear on the Cheshire Forum. I think Dave may have recommended it last meeting. And again, I saw it on the Cheshire Forum. I don't know if it generated any interest or response or whatever. If it did, it would have probably gone to the website. Didn't come to me. I think the press release said to contact Cheshire Energy Commission at whatever, cheshirect.gov or whatever. I'm not aware that anybody actually got back. Having said that, if anybody is interested in the HES program and its enhanced incentives, they better do something about it pretty quickly because it's time sensitive. There's only 3 months left to get it all done, and then it goes away. So
hopefully it won't go away, but yeah, I think if you're like getting an incentive and you have to have the work completed by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So,
I think you're right. So I think we did our best to get the word out that the program existed. There was some discussion about what kinds of incentives there were for what types of measures. I don't know what else we can do. You can't force people to do the work. Again, we as a commission funded or supported in some way or another. In some cases, we paid for all of the cost of the audits. In other cases, we paid a portion of the audit. But I think we touched over 1,500 Cheshire residents, going back about 10 years. So it could be that a lot of people have already done what they feel they needed to do or wanted to do, and there's nothing left. It's not likely that that really is the case, but that's sometimes people think that they've done it, so there's nothing else.
I'm doing it with my house in a week.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Maybe this is a good segue to go to the I Love Home program. Dan, maybe bring us up to speed on what, if anything, is going on.
Well, it's just another resource that's out there for people that want help deciding with their, what kind of insulation option is best. They've kind of helped me. I've got a building project at my house, and they went over some different scenarios of different ways I can meet the insulation requirements and what might be the best route, most cost effective, which kind of energy efficiency improvement to your house would have the biggest bang for the buck is kind of the service they hope to provide.
Last month we said that I think, and I don't know if it's correct, if it's not, we can change it or fix it, but it implied that it came after the HES audit. True?
You can talk to them before or after. They even helped me set up the HES audit. They recommended the company to go with, because for that. But
is this in connection with the New Haven initiative, or?
Yeah.
Because you have some affiliation with the New Haven.
I had met. Yeah, I know the people that are working on it. So
if George Romania wanted to,
everybody's welcome.
Really, even though he says Cheshire resident.
Excuse me. This is for all Connecticut residents can use it. It's not a. It was an initiative started by the kind of with some of the people in the New Haven Energy Task Force, but it's not specific to New Haven.
So the cost, though, is borne by some New Haven.
I don't think it's a New Haven. I think it's they got a grant.
Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of interesting because I was under the impression that we had to kind of start a similar program in Cheshire.
Oh, no.
No?
No.
All right, so then, but I don't think Walt put anything in his press release about this particular added service, so as long as it gets minuted tonight, maybe we'll have a follow-up announcement, and we could mention that this I Love My Heart, I Heart My Home, I Love My program may be useful to some people to decide, what they want to do, if they want to do anything.
Sure.
Okay, now that Dave is around, hey, Dave, you doing
Yeah.
okay with your computer? Let's do the approval of the minutes, which is item 4. The minutes of the August 31st, 2020 regular meeting. Does anybody have any comments, corrections?
No,
No?
No,
I don't.
Well, as luck would have it, I do. Very, very minor, actually. For some reason, page 2 has 3 on it.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's just why, I just want to make sure that, we acknowledge there is no page 2. So if anybody's reading these things on the website or whatever, and they say, hey, what happened to page 2?
Got it.
There isn't. Okay. As I said, in my email to you, Anthony, you did a nice job on these, considering
Thank you.
the meeting was all screwed up, but actually, I don't know if whoever was on the call last time, I had to call in on a phone because believe it or not, my speaker on my computer was not working. I didn't realize that because when it's not working, you don't know, I can't communicate. I could hear you guys, but you couldn't hear me. But yeah, it ended up being a problem with my software, and that's been fixed. And then on page 6, Ann, there's just a kind of a typo under PBC projects.
Mm-hmm.
Item E, first item, it says improvements to the existing locker rooms and the HVAC system at the Cheshire Police Station. So it's just an extra couple of at these. That's all I've got. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
Second.
Dave and Dan. Okay. And no further discussion, I presume. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. So why don't we jump down to benchmarking, item B under old business. Dan, do you have anything further to update us on what Amy Thompson is doing from UConn?
I could follow up to her, see when she wants to schedule a next meeting. As it stood last time when they presented, we didn't have as many people there as we would have liked. So she was going to offer a second opportunity. It's probably been about time for me to follow up with her on that, and we could see if between now and the next meeting we can work to set something up.
Okay. We still have this kind of a outstanding, we need to nail down who's going to do the updating. I know, Dan, you're thinking that it should be somebody on the Energy Commission. I'm not sure that we all agree with that. I don't think Dave Gavin feels comfortable doing that, or maybe even doesn't have the time or wherewithal to do that. But what we're talking about.
No, I think I said, I could handle it for a while. I have access to Walter G's Gagcar's password, town of Cheshire, et cetera. So I think that would allow me access. I still haven't spoken to Muhammad about getting on a website, although I do have my own Energy Star website, but that's still, but Dan, you'd have to give me the name of somebody in the town who would send me the bills for gas and.
We could get them through my office, and I could forward them to you. As it were. I mean, the gas and the electricity are automated, as you're aware. The
Right, propane and
are-
oil. Yeah, propane.
Exactly, and those are minimal. And I think what you'll find, Dave, is if you updated those, even if you did it quarterly, at this point in the year, we haven't really been cycling through any fuels for that. Obviously, we haven't been using any heat. Minimal in the hot water at a lot of these facilities that are using it for heating hot water. So I'll work with my office to get what we have for a gap to now and see if you even have anything to update at this point. But we can get it through my office, and I'll be the one to forward it to you.
Okay, sounds good.
And Dave, honestly, if you're not comfortable with doing that, I've been looking for something to do. It's something that I could probably get going. I could probably do that if you really don't want to do it, because I feel like I've been pretty quiet here lately.
But I recommend that you do it.
Nice.
I knew that was going to
I'm
happen.
surprised you let him get through his sentence, Dave.
Should I volunteer? I don't know, but I'm pretty good with the computer, so I feel like it'd be something that would be in my ballpark. So
Well, as you guys know, I'm not tremendous with computers, so.
yeah,
Well, that's good. I'm glad you did volunteer for that, George. It would be a good way to get to help out on the commission, but also to understand a little bit more about what we're doing with the various facilities.
Yeah,
So
you know, I looked at the website today. It's kind of interesting. They added a new category comparing our performance with various structures with the national medium. And we do pretty well. I mean, almost all the grammar schools in Dodd are better than the median. They're averaging about 20, 25% lower than the national median, except for Highland, which is about 10% higher, I believe. And the only areas we have, and actually even the high school is about 10% better than the median high school in the United States. That's based on energy per square foot of structures. So that was
BTU.
kind of interesting. The outliers, as far as our performance to the national averages, are the police station, the bus transfer station, which is a small potato thing, and I believe, the police station and a couple of the firehouses looks like they need some attention, and Highland School needs some attention.
What about a Highland, do you think?
Yeah, they're actually.
What is it?
I think about 10% better than the median. Maybe not. I'd have to go back, but I'm just doing it from memory now.
Okay, so hold on a second. All right, let me just clarify. I think, I don't know, Ann, if you're getting all that, but.
Not
David
really,
is
but
saying that we now have the ability to compare our facilities to other facilities in the country. And he's saying median, MEDIN, median energy intensity. What is it called? Energy? What is it called? Energy.
Well, it's actually measured in.
Energy intensity. It's measured in BTUs per square foot, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So you take in the electricity and the natural gas and converting it to their equivalent BTU content, and then dividing by the size of the facility.
Correct.
So, but what's that metric called? Is it energy use? Energy utilization?
I'm not sure. It's site energy consumption per square foot or something like that. I'd have to check it. But you're right. It's in 1,000 BTUs per square foot.
Okay.
The actual number, and they give it both for the site and for the source. But that category is new. I haven't seen it before. It's called, comparison to various similar buildings in the United States.
Nationwide.
And it's the median, which means half. We're like, for grammar schools, we're about 20% better per square foot than the median K through 8 schools, except for Highland.
Yeah.
From what I remember, though, is median really a good judge? Isn't median just mean it's the center point?
Right.
Like, it could still mean that like most of the schools are better than ours, but there's a few outliers that are doing really bad, and we just happen to be in the middle. You know what I mean?
That's correct.
So I don't mean to rain on the parade, but is there a
Yeah,
way
so-
to judge the mean? Maybe I feel like that might be a better.
Which is the average, like,
Yeah.
I think the mean is like it's like more of a true average. Yeah.
It is the average. It's adding up the total and dividing by the number.
Right, so now that we have the ability to compare, which is really why it's under benchmarking, because it's supposed to be, you're comparing within the town, building to building, but our town to other towns. We need to know what it is that we're comparing.
exactly. For
So
instance,
is
like
it the mean, the
the
median,
pool,
the average, the high, the low? We need to understand better what it is, that metric, that underlying metric. And there's lots of metrics, right? Anybody who participated in the Amy Thompson webinar, by the way, does everybody have a read-only access now? You do, right, George?
Yes.
You do? And Dan Newton, you do?
Did you email that? I didn't see it.
Did you participate in the webinar?
I did not.
Oh. Dan Newton, Dan, the other Dan, the two Dans, Dan Newton, Dan Bombaro, can you get him? Are you frozen up there, Dan Bombaro?
Oh, no, Danny, he
Yeah,
looks frozen.
He's frozen. You'd already, I don't know,
I
whatever.
think the way we handled it was, I think, over the meeting venue, people contacted Mohammed, and he walked them through a process to develop read-only access. George would know more about it than me.
Well, we need to get Dan Newton access, right? Dan, you don't have access. It wasn't difficult, but it wasn't something that you'd be able to figure out by yourself. You did, yeah. But working with Mohammed or with Amy, you can get read-only access. And once you're in there, you play around with it, you can see that there's all kinds of metrics. Pick one that you like, and then you can use it to compare Highland to some school in Denver, Colorado. I presume it's normalized, right?
Yes,
It is.
yeah, it's and it's actually temperature adjusted also.
Okay.
Now, if you put your pointer on the title, it'll give you their definition of the title.
Okay. All right, so let's move along. Under clean energy, we still have the solar carport, but we lost Dan
Yeah.
Bombaro. Ian, are you gonna be able to get him back or no?
I'm just, I'm waiting for, I'm just sending him an email. I'm just waiting for him to either call in or try and re-up in the waiting room here, so.
Okay. We need him for item D and E.
Okay,
G. Okay, so
Rich,
Dan Newton, before you fall out, I'd like you to lead the conversation on the community choice aggregation. Did you see the email that came out today from?
I did see that, and I
Yes.
had read those articles. It's another piece of news is that Pura is conducting a hearing on it, and the second of those happened today. It started at 9 and went to 2:30. It was kind of brutal, but as those hearings often are. But it was mostly that Peter Millman and Samuel Golding that they put together a lot of speakers, and they did a really good job. They had different people from around the country. A couple of the California CCA directors spoke, and then the one from Cape Light Compact spoke, and then they also had like a guy that helped the state of California redo their energy market. He was very interesting. And of course, Eversource spoke probably for the longest time. They explained what they are currently doing to purchase energy.
So who was the audience?
That's a good question. Melissa Gillette, the director of Pura, is definitely she's leading it, and she's gonna, I think, be reporting to the legislators about some of the conclusions that she comes up with. A couple of the other speakers were the Office of Consumer Counsel spoke from Connecticut, and then also the his counterpart from New Hampshire spoke.
So was this a closed meeting, or was it advertised in some way? Because I didn't know anything about it.
I know, I should have sent you the link. I'm sorry. I signed up for it Friday.
Okay,
but there is it looks like there's going to be a third one. I wonder if there is. It was long, and but I don't know. It was interesting.
All right, well, let's back up a bit. The email that I referred to earlier was it included 2 attachments which Ann sent out with the agenda, but the body of the email, I think somebody was asking somebody if they had a draft of a letter that was being composed to be sent to the governor. And somebody said, I've seen so many drafts, I'm confused. I don't know, which one to look at. Just send me the final letter. Have you seen any final letter?
I know I haven't seen a draft even. I can ask Peter about that. I think that's probably a good direction to go, since the chair.
Evidently, there are, well, not evident. There are other towns in Connecticut that are looking at community choice aggregation. Westport was one of the ones that was on the distribution of this letter today, or email today, and they want to see the final draft so they could vote on it. I guess they're trying to get buy-in from various cities and towns as to whether or not they would support, enabling legislation at the state level. But that was earlier today, and I didn't see any response. I don't know if there's a letter to the governor. Who's writing it? Is it finished? I mean, I thought maybe you might know.
And I don't.
Okay.
Is anybody getting a flashing picture of a telephone?
Yeah.
That's Dan Bombero.
That'd be me. I somehow lost internet here, so I'm on my phone now.
It's something comes up every single month on this. It's just,
it's a new world we live in now.
Yeah, could be better at it by now. But anyway, okay. So Dan Bombero, before we lose you again, we skipped over. So we might come back to the letter to the governor, but can you bring us up to date on the solar carport at the police station? How is it working? Is it something that we should take off the agenda? Is it fine? Is it?
Yeah, everything seems to be running after that one gap that they had with the meter. They've got that all straightened out.
Yep.
I actually looked at it today.
compared the readings that were on the last invoice that came in to those for the comparable month, and day to day it was as expected. So that all seems to be up and running smoothly at this point. So things develop over time. I could bring you up to speed if there's anything that comes up, but
Yeah.
as of now, it's just an operating instrument that we have in town.
So it's getting close to a year, right, since it's been operational?
I
More
wanna
like 6
say-
months, I think.
Yeah, I want to say it was late on the start with that, and it was maybe beginning of last year, end of 2019 that it would have gone up. We're not on a year by any stretch yet.
Okay, I guess what I would like to get is some kind of a performance evaluation at some point, like whether it's, let's say, at about the year point, how much generation was there? What's the dollar value? What's the because this is all the output of this thing is what I think it was it we buy the power at 11 cents. Is that what it is? 11 or 12 or
At 12.6.
12.6 cents. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is going to be obviously because we went instead of you could have gone two approaches with it. You could have gone with a variable where you were a lower cost per kilowatt hour off the bat that would have escalated over the duration of the contract, or you could have gone with the fixed, which had an initial higher cost, year one, but worked out to be a more protected number. The variable was based on the industry rates, as it were. So there's something that couldn't be anticipated there with the fixed rate. It was comparable long run with a little bit of built-in protection that obviously we're not going to expect the cost per kilowatt hour to decrease over the duration of this contract.
Well, yes, but whatever we decided to do, that's water over the dam. I guess what I would like to know is how effective was this project and how effective was the 1 megawatt plant over at the former landfill. And how to judge that, I don't know exactly, but I'd probably be a good idea to see what is the total output.
Right. I mean, production over cost, like on a year one.
Yeah. Right.
Is going to be different. And again, we all have access to the dashboard there. That's actually pretty good at showing you the numbers. Not necessarily the cost to the town on a monthly basis, but the production numbers that can be compared against the anticipated output of the facility.
Yeah, the landfill solar array is part of that net metering, I guess. But this
The virtual net metering credit. Yep.
But this, the one at the police station is not, right?
That is correct. This is a piece of
the police station consuming all of the output.
Yeah, the size of this one was targeted. It was the small Z-Rec, and it was targeted to do 100% on-site consumption.
Okay. So in some sense, it might be easier to assess the value of the smaller system, because instead of spending whatever, 15, 20 cents per kilowatt hour, whatever it would have been to buy the power off the grid, we're only spending 12 cents to buy the power off the solar panels. So we ought to be able to come up with some kind of well, not a cost, a benefit.
Right.
Some sense for what the benefit is for having done the project.
Very well.
Okay. And I guess final question would be, are there any other opportunities for solar carports or larger scale systems in town?
We could definitely look into potential sites. Obviously, any town facility could get any variation of an array, whether it be a roof mount or a carport of some sort. And we can look at what opportunities are out there to leverage in order to make them possible.
Yeah, I mean, obvious choices would be a school parking lot or something over at the Bartlett Park, maybe even something right there at the town hall. I don't know. I mean, solar carports are beneficial not just for generating clean energy, but for shielding automobiles from sun and snow and whatever. So there may be, of course, we didn't pay for these installations, so you'd have to try to find some, project developer that would be willing to put in a system for us and, arrange for
Well, that's
something.
use of a small Z-Rack or something of the nature. I mean, any of these opportunities, the Z-Rack opportunities that are out there, they're what make it palatable for the companies.
Right, and I don't know what the status is of the
Again, we could look into that, and I could see what I could provide as an update on that.
yeah, you
for
should
next
do
month.
that. The Z-Rec, small Z-Rec or medium Z-Rec programs still exist. I don't know if they're sunsetting or, they will not go on forever, but I think they're still around. But again, I'm not 100% sure of that. But if you could look into that would be good.
Mhm.
Okay.
Very well.
All right, and then how about the item E under old business, the locker room and HVAC system at the police station? Do you know anything's going on there?
Was that one of the items that you guys were provided with the plan set on?
No, that was for fire station boilers. This is, I think, not quite as advanced. Dave Gavin, you may know, but there's probably some design effort that has to still be done.
Yeah, that was still. I mean, to the best I know, is that project's going to be something for next year.
Yes.
I think it's going to design, and then once something comes out, we'll be certain to make sure that you guys are forwarded the package as you were the previous two. And again, any comments or, that you want to provide, they can come through me. I can get them to George, and he can present them to the PBC as recommendations from the Energy Commission.
Okay.
Yeah, the PBC, Public Work, excuse me, they've selected a contractor to prepare the RFP for the project. It was a recommendation from the police commissioner or the chief of police who has worked with other police companies on projects similar to this, and so I forget the name of the company, but
Jakunski Humes.
That's correct.
So summarize that again. The Drive and some other local police chiefs or leadership.
well, no, they made a recommendation to the Public Building Commission. We're in the process of selecting people that sent in proposals to prepare the A&E for the project. And they selected this one that had experience with doing similar police departments in Connecticut.
For the design work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Dan Bombaro, do you have anything on tree trimming, reliability, tree trimming?
Yeah, I do. Eversource, Arborist for Eversource providing an update as of today. They actually just, the end of last week, finished a trimming route up in the Birch Drive area of town. They're also also looking at doing, let's see if I can find my notes here. Some other targeted trimming based on some outages at other locations in town, subsequent to the recent power outages. They are looking at going to your Fox Hill Road, Woodland Drive, Finch Ave, and Crescent Circle, based on some large consumer outages from the recent storms.
Okay.
Dan, can you repeat the roads? Fox Hill, Finch,
Yep, so
Crescent Circle?
They completed a circuit off of Birch Drive, so that whole area. Now they're looking at doing some work off Fox Hill Road, Woodland Drive, Finch Ave, and Crescent Circle.
Thank you.
Okay. Under new business, we have item A, a new appointment to the Energy Commission. That's there just to let you know that Tom Bartley, who's Republican nominating committee on the, he took and who was the former, she is now on the town council. Anyway, Tom Bartley took over for her and contacted me. He says he's got a candidate that they're running through the approval process. I know his name, but there's no point in putting it on here because if he doesn't get approved, then we'll have to undo it. But I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. But hopefully this individual will be on board for the next meeting. And then he also said he was going to reach out to George and Dave to confirm your interest in continuing to serve past your expiration, which is the end of January. So I assume that he's done that.
Yeah, I got an email from him.
Okay.
Same here.
Haven't made up my mind yet.
You haven't made up your mind. You're playing hard to get.
But yeah, looking for a raise.
Oh, okay. All right. So, and then George, you're on the list too. To hope you decide to keep on the stay on the commission. But
I wouldn't have volunteered for anything if I knew I was done.
good. All right. That's
I would just
a
stay
hint.
quiet.
A hint. Okay. Second item under new business, somebody out there, some other town has conducted an analysis to show that owning solar projects is more cost effective in the long run than PPAs. And the two projects that we have, the 100 kW at the police station and the 1000 kW at the former landfill are both PPAs. I just want you to know that, there are other communities that are looking at, purchase versus leasing or PPAs.
Well, the cogen plant that was purchased.
Yeah, that's an outright purchase, right?
Right.
Yeah. However, the vendor is doing the maintenance, right? So one caveat on the solar projects is that if you buy them, I don't know how many panels do we have out at the landfill, but there's quite a few. If you buy them and the vendor is no longer responsible, you got to have somebody internally that can do that, do the maintenance, the repairs or whatever. And that would obviously add to the cost and detract from the benefit. So, our systems are rather small compared to, others, but just wanted to mention that people are looking at owning versus not leasing so much as purchase price agreements, and PPAs may not always be the way to go. But the next time we come up with one, and we just talked about possibly additional carports or larger installations, we should have that conversation internally. Do we want to do a PPA? Do we want to go the PPA route, or do we want to own, operate, and maintain our own?
But you know what, a deciding factor on the town dump one was virtual net metering.
Yeah.
And, these smaller ones are standalone, basically.
Right.
So it's usually it's not ours. We never base it on life cycle cost, but we usually do it on payback period. And I think the one at the pool, the cogen, is about 5-year payback, including maintenance.
And now maybe only 4 years, right? How
Yeah,
long has it been operating?
It's working out. I think it's running at capacity right now.
How long has it been running?
Well, about a year and a couple months.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody have anything else to add?
What
No?
would be the life cycle of the cogen? Do you know, Dave?
They claim that when they're selling them, these things last 25 years. They have units that have been, as long as you properly maintain it. And under our maintenance agreement, I think we pay 7.5 cents per kilowatt hour generated. No, it's not that. It's not nowhere near that high, but I think it's like $7,500 a year.
Yeah,
And,
probably a couple cents.
Yeah, and the gas we're getting there, I mean, we're generating about half the electricity at the pool, and we're paying about, with including maintenance and everything, about 8 cents a kilowatt hour. So it looks pretty good,
Yeah. Yeah, and we talked about doing an assessment on the 2 solar installations. We should do that on all these projects. We should circle back and analyze the cost effectiveness of what we've done, and just for in case we want to copy it over to some other location in town, or advertise all the good things we've done. I mean, I sent a summary, that we handed out at the
Fall festival.
at the town fair of our list of achievements. And but just Dave, you mentioned this last meeting or the one before, the LED streetlight conversion. It saves a lot of money. Well, at least it was supposed to, but we never really go back and do a verification.
No, the only one that the LED, I think, is more safety driven than anything, because it was just failing the lighting system there. But you per kilowatt hour, it's probably consuming about less than half of what those other ones were using.
I thought I saw that it was $200,000 a year of savings. Is that possible?
I'm not sure, because that's not used that much, is it? Maybe the street lights you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant the LEDs it's saving a lot of money. I think it's like $200,000 a year.
$200,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That adds up. 5 years, that's $1 million.
Yep. Okay. Anybody else have anything? Good to go. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
Make a motion.
Dave's always makes motions. Anybody else? George is seconding it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good. Thank you, Dan Bombaro, for calling back. Is he still there?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Thanks, Dan.